welcome back to Movie Review Mom. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm also so glad to talk about this next movie. I think it's really interesting, and I hope that you were able to catch it. Today, the movie I'm reviewing is Soul. This movie was released on Christmas Day on Disney Plus. It's actually the very first time a full featured Pixar movie has not premiered in movie theaters, but went straight to streaming. And of course, that's because of COVID. The movie's release had been postponed and postponed, and finally they picked Christmas Day, which I thought was a really good day. Unlike the live action remake of the Disney movie Mulan, there was no extra charge to watch this movie. Yay! However, you do have to subscribe to Disney Plus to catch it. So here's the scoop in case this sounds good. You might want to do maybe a free trial on Disney Plus just to check it out. So the movie is rated PG. It's an hour and 40 minutes. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A. But there are some buts in there. So keep watching. I'm going to give you an overview in a quick nutshell. I'll give you some tips for parents, which I think are really important in this movie, especially, as well as talk about things I liked and didn't like and some themes that are worth discussing. So first, in a nutshell, this is not a kid's movie. So I watched this very thought-provoking, very inventive movie with family members and friends ranging in age from 20 to 67. And that was everyone's final consensus is this isn't really a kid's movie. Pixar has asked us to think about feelings a lot in their movies. First, they asked, what if toys had feelings? And we loved Toy Story and all of its sequels in that franchise, right? So then Pixar asked us, what if feelings had feelings? And we adored the movie Inside Out. Well, now the question is, what if souls had feelings? And so the question that I want to ask you is, do you like this movie? Do you think that kids will like it? Did you like it? Well, there's lots to talk about. This is a very sweet movie, but it's not what you think it's going to be like. It's much more sophisticated. I would say probably the most sophisticated of the Pixar films. And very serious. So if you liked the psychological and philosophical concepts in the movies Inside Out or even Coco, then you'll be intrigued by this story. It's not just a film, but a lesson on how to live our lives. And it just might be the perfect ending to a very crazy year of 2020 to remind us to be grateful for every moment that we have in our unpredictable, beautiful, and challenging lives. This is kind of an out-of-body experience as you reflect on your own life and how you spend your time and where you focus your daily activities. All right, so let me give you some tips for parents. Well, of course, my opener was the biggest tip. It's not really a movie for kids. It's very deep. The concepts are quite advanced for young children, and they might actually be bored. And in fact, I've talked with some families where not only were the kids bored, but so were some of the adults. So it's kind of a heady animation, and we don't have too many of those. Other tips for parents are that a spirit slaps another spirit. Of course, the spirit can't feel it because he doesn't have a body, but I'm just saying, gets a little physical and abusive there for a minute. There's no other profanity other than mentioning HE double hockey sticks. And then some themes that were illustrated really well in the movie are purpose and passion, finding your unique spark and pursuing your dreams. And it also makes a point that there's nothing wrong with you if you don't know what your purpose is yet, because it's a journey. And I really liked that lesson. Of course, the meaning of life in a sense, and that it's the joys of everyday life that bring us meaning and happiness at the end of our lives as we reflect back on how we did spend our lives. And so the movie asks us to ask ourselves, where should your focus be in life? And what are the things that at the end of the day will really matter at the end of your life? Now, there were plenty of things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, the animation is fantastic with so many rich details and textures and complex facial expressions. The fingers on the piano of this jazz musician on the keyboard are just amazing. I mean, it's Pixar, so it's amazing. I love that the title refers both to soul music as well as our inner soul. I love double entendres in titles. This is the first Pixar film to feature an African American protagonist. The characters really look like actual people that I've met before. In order to honor and accurately portray African Americans, several famous Black celebrities were invited and hired as consultants, such as David Diggs, Quincy Jones, John Baptiste, Questlove, Herbie Hancock, and actually many more. Jamie Foxx, who voices Joe Gardner and is an incredible actor, is also a very talented musician. Tina Fey voices the soul named 22 and is fantastic as expected. She actually helped to write the characters' lines and the screenplay. So it's really entertaining to hear the voice of this middle aged white woman coming out of a Black character. And that's kind of a running gag throughout the movie. It's really cute and entertaining. You'll get a real flavor of New York City. And I always love when New York City is one of the characters in the movie. And I also really love the contrast between the loud, busy New York City and the quiet, serene moments of the great before. There's some really nice foreshadowing. And the movie asks children and adults to consider some very profound ideas, such as life before life in a pre-mortal world and life after death. And I really hope people actually take time to explore that possibility because I believe in both of those things. There are some really cute gags like Mystics Without Borders and the magic of pizza. Yes. There are some good twists I appreciated. And Disney and Pixar are both masters at including fun Easter eggs in films. And in this movie, there are so many of them. I won't even list them all in this review, but there are tons. I'm sure there are probably lots of other YouTube videos and websites that list them all. But here are just a few examples. So there are name tags of some of the former mentors that 22 had. So listed on her wall are the names of Michael Jackson, Prince, Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, Aretha Franklin, and the late Pixar director, Joe Ranft. So I thought that that was really cute. Animators actually worked at home to finish the film during the COVID pandemic. And so in the rolling credits at the very end, it lists their names and it reads, quote, in homes at least 6 feet away from each other in the Bay Area, end quote. So I thought that that was cute. And again, impressive to see what they were able to put together all from the comfort and safety of their homes. So here's another Easter egg. Look for the famous Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story in the Hall of Everything scene in the movie. You could also see a broccoli pizza at the pizza counter from the movie Inside Out. John Ratzenberger is a staple in Pixar films. And even though his name is not credited in the film, Pete Docter, the director, revealed that he does do a cameo in the film. So I don't know why they didn't credit him. I mean, we expect to see him in Pixar. Peter Docter also directed Monsters, Inc., which is a super adorable movie. So he used the number 2319 on the subway train, which is the same number in Monsters, Inc., that stated that a human sock had entered the monster's world. Do you remember that? Super cute. A lot of thought was put into this movie. During the 5 years of development, the story team presented 73,811 storyboards. That's what I mean is I love Disney and Pixar because they really think through details and how they can add layers to the story and the visual gags and all of that kind of stuff. The character's name 22 is a reference to the paradox catch 22. In other words, in this movie's plot, the only way to find out if life is worth living is to live life. And so both of the characters actually discover that lesson. Keep watching, by the way, during the rolling credits until the very end to see another quick clip. Music, as I mentioned, is one of the characters in the movie. And so if you love jazz, you're really going to enjoy the musical score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They are sure to be nominated and possibly win an Academy Award for their musical score. That being said, I don't know that it will actually convert anyone new to jazz. I love how the scenes that happen on Earth feature bright colors, while those that are in the great before are more soft pastels. So I actually believe that all things are created spiritually before they're created physically. And so I was really impressed again with the color palette and how that illustrated that very idea so well. And that showed that they really put thought into that concept. Some have said that Joe's perspective appeals to adults, while 22's perspective might appeal more to kids. And I thought that that was really clever. The opening scene was totally adorable and is a respectful tribute to teachers. And I am a teacher, so I especially appreciated that. Some of Pixar's movies have been labeled as emotionally manipulative, but in this movie, it tugs on your heartstrings in a way that's actually earned. And I really appreciated that. There are tons of voice cameos. Just check out the rolling credits at the end of the movie, and you'll be surprised at how many big stars were involved in the voice talent. And some you might not have heard, but the names you'll definitely recognize. The movie definitely has heart, and you really feel the love that the filmmakers obviously had while creating it. And then finally, I thought it was really cute that the movie suggested that people who are generally considered to be on the fringe, like hippies or yogis, might actually be the ones who have figured out how to live. Now, there were a few things that I didn't like. First of all, it's a delightful movie to watch once, but not one that kids are going to be begging to watch over and over again. It provides a lot of opportunities to think about your life, but it's not super entertaining in the way that we generally watch movies to laugh and have fun and that kind of thing. It's not your typical Disney princess movie. Also, there are a lot of advanced words and cultural references that young kids simply won't understand or even appreciate. The movie really feels like it was designed for adult audiences. This is the very first Pixar movie to not show the title card until the very end of the movie. And I thought that that was different, interesting. Again, just not what we expect. And I'm not saying all movies should be what we expect. In fact, I really enjoy that it's unpredictable. I mean, at the very beginning of the movie, after about 10 minutes, I don't want to give a plot point away, but something happens. And I was like, wait, what? I like that. I really like being surprised. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of humor. When I was watching the movie with my family and friends, each person only laughed out loud maybe once, including me. I mean, there are some moments where you just kind of go, huh, you know, but not laugh out loud. So it's just, again, not that type of an animation movie. Now, there was also no Pixar short that played before the movie. So sad. I always look forward to watching those. All right, so when I watch movies, I always write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I include them in my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So you can run over there and check those out, but I'll share just a couple of them with you right now. So Tina Fey voices the character of 22, and she explains that she can really use any voice at all. And so she demonstrates a man voice, a woman voice, young voice, old voice, and then she says she uses this middle-aged voice. She says, I use this voice because it annoys people. I think I actually did laugh out loud when she said that. And then Graham Norton actually voices the character called Moonwind, and he says, "For a time, I was a lost soul myself. Tetris." I thought that was cute. And then musicians will appreciate a line that Jamie Foxx's character states. He says, as he's playing music, he says, "The tune is just an excuse to bring out the you." I thought that that was really cool. All right, before we go, I want to give you some recommendations for other movies that are similar enough to this movie that I think you'll really enjoy. First of all, Inside Out. It was a movie where we didn't have a happy bow tied on to everything, kind of like this movie in some regards. It had a very melancholy feel to it, and we loved it. And then another movie is Coco, which also has just some delightful surprises and feels. Before I watched Coco, now this may sound crazy because I was an exchange student in Mexico when I was in high school, but the Day of the Dead holiday that Mexicans celebrate always kind of creeped me out a little bit with the skeletons and all the creepy stuff. But after I watched this movie, I just felt like, oh, I love that tradition. I love that. I want to have skeletons. Well, maybe not quite that far, but it just really touched my heart. And again, crosses that veil between earth and the beyond. And so I think that you'll really enjoy that if you haven't seen it. And last one is if you love jazz and a romance, although it's not animated, is La La Land. Okay, that is it for my review today. Thank you so much for your support, for watching the whole video. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Give it a thumbs up. Tell your friends to come on over to this channel, and I will catch you in the next movie. Bye for now.